Hi, Bill here with 30-Minute Woodshop. Thanks for joining. Today I want to show you how to make a turned dice cup. So if you followed some of my previous videos, like the one right here, you'll see I made a dice cup without turning. So basically it's an octagonal dice cup. Check this out if you're interested in that. No turning involved, but in this one I'm going to try and do a little bit better job. I'm going to turn this out of this block. Now, the center is ash, flanked by 2 pieces of mahogany. And then on the outside, I have 2 pieces of hickory. So nothing super special here, just some scrap I had laying around. It should give me some nice color differentiation when I get done turning this. But then I went ahead, of course, I sized it. I didn't show you that, but that's just cutting the ends and the edges so it's all the same size. And this is a 4.5 by 4.5 block. And it's pretty close. First thing I have to do, however, before I get started on putting it on the lathe, is I need to use this, which is a center finder. This is one by Rockler. It just has a little 90-degree corner in here, some cheap plastic. It's got a slot in here where I can mark it. All I do is take it. This is great for cylinders though. It's perfect. Mark it, mark it, mark it. Now I always do all 4 quarters. The reason is if it's not exactly 90 degrees on the outside, that'll give you a range and you can find the center, which this one does. There's a little bit of a center difference here. Not much, about a 30-second. It wouldn't make a difference turning, but that's okay. I want to get it as close as I can to keep the balance. Now the next step. Before I get in the lathe in the center points, I need to put the center points in. So to do that, I'm using this little birdcage awl. A birdcage awl has a 4-sided pyramidal point, and what happens with that is you push it in and twist it, and the little sides of the pyramids, the sharp sides of the pyramids, will actually create a hole. So push and twist 3 or 4 times. Push and twist 3 or 4 times, and you're done. So next step is to go over to the lathe. Now, if you want to make this, go to the bottom, check out the links. In the links, there'll be a link to my blog. Click on that and you'll find a dimension sketch, and you can go ahead and make this project on your own. Now, with all that said, let's go over to the lathe. You may remember this setup from one of my previous videos when I did the other dice cup, but you can see I have a 2 1/8 inch Forstner bit chucked in the drill press. I have it blocked on 2 sides, and I have the fence up just to keep the thing in place and keep it from rotating. And now I'm going to drill a 3-inch deep hole from this surface down. When I get done, I'll have it prepped and ready to chuck in the lathe. And there we go, 3 inches. Good to go. Now, let's get to the, let's get to the saw and cut these corners off like I did in the last one. That'll just save me some work on the lathe side. And then we'll get this chucked up in the lathe and start turning. What I have here is a jam chuck that I got attached. I turned this just out of some 2x4, so it's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to stick it in here and put the live center here, and it will start turning. So nothing ever goes as planned, and I had to do a little repair work. There was a crack right here, and I had to refill that with epoxy. Done that, epoxy's dried. Now I've marked out 3 rings. This is the actual bottom. The first ring, if you can see that, is the bottom of the cup. And then this is the distance I want for the thickness of the bottom, which is about a 1/2 inch. And then I threw another one over here, which is a 1/2 inch further. So from here, these last 2, that's going to be the curve and the end of my the bottom of my cup. So that's how much room I have to play with. And of course, this is going to be a piece of waste. So let's start turning. Well, we've got it parted off. I've done a little bit of sanding around the lip here and a little bit in the bottom, and we're ready to put some finish on. This is really looking good. Let's see. Now we'll let it dry for half an hour, put a couple more coats on, and we'll give it a try. What a totally cool project. This dice cup was super easy to do. Just glued together some different types of wood, cut it off, threw it in the lathe, and did a quick turn. And I'll tell you, drilling the center out on the drill press made it super simple. So I got this edge down to about 1/8 of an inch. I thought about going a little lower, but I had a couple of problems with a joint failure here and there, and had to fill them with epoxy. So I decided 1/8, I'd live with 1/8, it's pretty good. But a nice cup. It's a little, if you remember the one I made before, this octagon is really, really light because it's made out of red cedar. This one's made out of hickory and cherry, and that hickory and cherry are actually hickory and mahogany. But it's pretty weighty comparatively. But a really nice size. So very easy to use. Great. I love it. Tell you what, looks really good too. I like the stripes here. Nice. So fun project, easy to do. If you have a lathe, absolutely great. There's a link in the bottom. If you don't have one, I'll put one there. You can look at, maybe check it out, a MIDI lathe. If you don't have one, they're a lot of fun to use. So that being said, if you want a drawing for these, a sketch, check my blog. There's a dimensioned sketch there for this thing. There's also down there links, like I said, for tools that I use. There will be one for a MIDI lathe, I think a jet, or one of the other types. I don't know which one yet, to be honest with you. I haven't looked that close. But take a look, explore those links, see what's down there. You may have some fun looking at those. It could be interesting. I had a great time doing this. Hope you got something out of this. And if you did, do me a favor, hit like and subscribe. And hey folks, until next time, good making.